Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. Cracking the code, that's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. There's something missing, America. Besides my book on the New York Times bestseller list, it's fine, we had a good run. What's missing is the media mob fixated on Florida and COVID. What changed? Florida COVID cases went way down. Florida kicked its summer surge. Good news, less sick citizens. Extra, extra, read all about it. But the national news won't run it. The media mob won't tell you the rest of the Florida story because it had a happy ending. See, if the plot line changes and goes against the narrative, the press skips to the next act. And the next act is this: if you're unmasked or unvaxxed, you're a deadly weapon.
Children are not just suffering and dying at greater rates right now, they're spreading COVID throughout the population at higher numbers. Anti-masking doesn't just affect schools, but our society as a whole. People do not get to walk around shooting loaded firearms randomly into crowds, and people are not entitled to turn themselves into deadly biological weapons by spraying disease-laden aerosols wherever they choose, randomly killing innocent people.
If you don't play by the left's rules that have zilch to do with science, you'll be deemed a public health threat. COVID's not a threat, you are. You're a bioweapon. You're an AR COVID-19. The government used the threat to public health to strip you of your First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, freedom of association. Churches were shuttered, interstate travel restricted, voting was altered, prisons emptied. These emergency powers fundamentally changed America just because of a threat to public health. A virus so threatening that the survival rate was 99%. Now that we have the vax, the threat's gone, but the emergency powers linger. Follow along here because this is where the danger lies. Just months ago, President Biden said this.
Today, we're taking steps to confront not just the gun crisis, but what is actually a public health crisis.
The CDC director quickly followed.
This is clearly one of those moments, one of those issues that is harming America's health. Something has to be done about this.
For the very first time, the CDC is funding a new surveillance program of hospitals, tracking Americans coming into ERs with survivable gunshot wounds. They'll add them up and make their case. And if history is a guide, the government will deem gun violence a public health threat and use its emergency powers to limit your Second Amendment rights. Judges have to hold the line against this coming power grab. The propaganda for the grab has been mounting. The masses have been deluded by it. Military-style, semi-automatic assault weapon, otherwise known as just a rifle. Well, the FBI released its 2020 crime report, massive rise in homicides. But let's go deeper. What's the murder method? In a country of over 300 million people, last year, just 454 murders were committed by rifle. Some lever action, pump action, some, I guess, AR-15s. But more murderers use their fists and their feet. And almost 4 times more people died from knives than so-called assault rifles. A fake phrase, by the way. The AR in AR-15 actually stands for Armalite rifle, the brand. So here's the point. Over 8,000 homicides last year involved handguns. These are the self-defense weapons of choice in America, especially among inner-city gangs, who are responsible for a big chunk of the body count. Revolvers, Glocks, very easy to conceal. So why doesn't the left harp on handguns if that's the firearm doing all the damage? Something to think about and discuss on another show. You'll never find fairness on the left. Look all you want, you'll go cross-eyed. A great example. Crazy California released the man who tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan. John Hinckley Jr. was a freak who tried to impress actress Jodie Foster by killing the president. Reagan barely survived. The bullet stopped an inch from his heart. But the would-be assassin's been paroled, was living in Virginia, but the public's lost track of him. He could be anywhere. In less than a year, he'll be released from all court supervision. Nobody monitoring his meds, travels, or communications. So shoot a president in the heart, and years later, you're a free man. The system says you're not crazy, you're no threat. But if you question the election or the CDC, I'm sorry, sir, you're going to have to come with me. America feels like Bruce Willis in 12 Monkeys.
We appreciate your volunteering. You're a very good observer, Cole.
Thank you.
A $3.5 trillion bill costs nothing. The border is secure, and what's Afghanistan?
We did it today. The extraordinary success of this mission was due to the incredible skill, bravery, and selfless courage of the United States military and our diplomats and intelligence professionals.
Extraordinary success? Everything costs more now. Trucks, fuel, food. But the geniuses in Washington claim it's all going away soon. Don't worry.
Experts believe, and the data shows, that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary.
Not so fast.
Dollar Tree is breaking the buck. The store where nearly everything sells for $1 is now raising prices by up to 50 cents on some items to cover rising costs.
So the dollar store is now the $1.50 store, and it is not going back down. Everything's inflated, well, except CNN's ratings. John Nolte at Breitbart has a great piece. Despite massive news events, bottom falls out of CNN's quarterly ratings. Not a single CNN program averaged over 1 million viewers. Not a single CNN program. CNN's highest rated show, Cuomo Primetime, came in a humiliating 23rd place. Tucker, The Five, Hannity, 1, 2, 3. Nolte writes, "We all know what's happening here. On top of the hideous behavior of deviants like Chris Cuomo and CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin, on top of the credible sexual assault claim against Don Lemon, CNN, LOL, is dealing with a massive credibility crisis. Over and over, CNN, LOL, has been exposed as a fake news outlet that trolls and lies and deliberately spread conspiracy theories. The end result is that during a world-changing news quarter, practically no one tunes into CNN, LOL, because no one trusts CNN, LOL, not even leftists." We reported last week Chris Cuomo was accused of grabbing a producer's butt at an ABC party in front of her husband and copped to it in writing. The highest rated anchor on CNN embroiled in a sexual harassment scandal, that's news, but the mob spiked it. ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, and of course CNN all ignored the story. This is why corporate media is dying. They don't cover the news, they cover it up. The networks did the same thing with John Durham. Not a peep from ABC, CBS, NBC after Crooked Hillary's lawyer got indicted for lying to the FBI, concocting the Trump-Russia hoax. Breaking news alerts anytime a Trump associate was charged in the witch hunt, but dead silence when Clinton's lawyer is charged for starting the witch hunt. Again, the press just turns the page when the plot thickens. And it's thickening. Durham just slapped Clinton's dirty dossier law firm with more subpoenas. The FBI exposed again this week for odious corruption. The IG report found the Bureau systematically lied and tricked the FISA court for years into getting warrants to spy on American citizens. They faked evidence, hid evidence, abused our privacy, and the media again hiding this sleaze from the country. Jim Comey signed off on all of it. But the most corrupt FBI chief since Hoover skedaddled with a fat book deal and just basks in the glow of left-wing worship. That's the retirement package when you run the resistance. They're throwing it in our faces now. Politico just confirmed Hunter Biden's laptop was legit. And that's how you rig a vote. Run the October surprise a year after the election. So Biden lied, the family was in business with the Chinese communists, and they were holding 10 for the big guy. Don't hold your breath for a prosecution. In Arizona, Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by 11,000 votes. An audit in Maricopa County, done by an outside firm, found 57,000 questionable ballots, just in that one county. The media wasn't interested in this, and the audit wasn't as thorough as it could have been because Arizona officials wouldn't fully cooperate, and some evidence was removed and destroyed. So there's a dangerous pattern in the United States. Politicians, prosecutors, and the press are abusing their power to wage political warfare against innocent people. And even when the abuse is exposed, the press runs cover for the conspiracy. We're picking it apart, but we need more honest Americans on the inside. Run for office, be a reporter. I'd tell you to be a lawyer, but this country does not need any more lawyers, just the right ones in the right places. So get it right, or be a judge. We can't win the battle from the outside. You know what you need to do.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.